It's a Christmas miracle. The Baldwin trial is finally over. Kari Morrissey has filed a notice of withdrawal of appeal, and that's going to be the end of it. Finally done. And it's clear she didn't want to, but she was told to, and we can find this out by reading between the lines of the press release from Mary Carmack Altwies, the first Judicial District Attorney. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so it says, for immediate release, FGDA supports the special prosecutor's withdrawal of the notice of intent to appeal in State versus Baldwin. So on December 23rd, 2024, Special Prosecutor Kari Morrissey withdrew the state's notice of appeal filed on November 21st, 2024 in the state of New Mexico versus Alexander Ray Baldwin. The appeal would have challenged the court's dismissal of criminal charges against producer and actor Alec Baldwin, which included involuntary manslaughter in the tragic shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust on October 21st, 2021. The FJDEA, that's Mary Carmack Altwies, commends Morrissey for her work in prosecuting two cases of such magnitude and national attention, including the successful prosecution against Hannah Gutierrez Reed, and of course, the unsuccessful prosecution against Baldwin. The FJDA supports the Hutchins family and their continued fight for justice in civil court. The dismissal of criminal charges against Baldwin has sparked debate about the legal process and accountability in the Rust incident, in which a talented cinematographer lost her life and director Joel Souza was injured. Helena's tragic death has prompted industry-wide scrutiny, specifically in New Mexico, of safety protocols, especially the use of firearms and live ammunition on set. Helena's family set up the Helena Hutchins Foundation to advocate for safer practices in the industry, promoting safety education and honoring her legacy as a talented filmmaker. Despite its disagreement with the court's decision, the FJDA remains steadfast in its mission to uphold justice. There is still much work to be done in criminal court, and our office will continue to diligently prosecute cases with integrity, fairness, and commitment to the rule of law. And it continues on with a sort of second release the same day, saying, today, Special Prosecutor Kari Morrissey withdrew the state's notice of appeal filed on November 21st, 2024 in the state of New Mexico versus Alec Baldwin. The appeal challenged the court's dismissal of criminal charges against Alec Baldwin, which included involuntary manslaughter in the death of Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust on October 21st, 2021. The state strongly disagrees with the decision of the court to dismiss the case against Mr. Baldwin and maintains that the evidence submitted to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office by Troy Teske was not material to the prosecution of Baldwin and was known to the defense prior to trial. Now, here's where you can tell that Kari Morrissey was told to knock it off and didn't choose to. The special prosecutor intended to pursue an appeal of the dismissal. However, the Office of the Attorney General notified the special prosecutor that the Attorney General did not intend to exhaustively pursue the appeal on behalf of the prosecution. She was told that this is over. She didn't like that. She wanted to keep going. And we're going to see how clear it was that she wanted to keep going in the next portion. So under New Mexico law, only the Attorney General is vested with the power to prosecute and defend criminal appeals in the higher courts. As a result, the state's efforts to continue to litigate the case in a fair and comprehensive manner have been met with multiple barriers that have compromised its ability to prosecute to the fullest extent of the law, i.e., she was not happy with the decision being taken away from her. She wanted to keep going. The special prosecutor consulted with the victim's family prior to withdrawing the notice of appeal. Helena Hutchins' mother, father, and sister opposed the withdrawal of the notice of appeal. Now, this second, the special prosecutor announces withdrawal of the notice of appeal. This appears to be authored by either Kari Morrissey or her office. So that's why you see the very substantial change in tone here. So she notes, Helena Hutchins' mother, father, and sister opposed the withdrawal of the notice of appeal. Kari Morrissey is telling the world right now, I'm fighting for the family, but I'm being undercut. Rank has been pulled on me, and I don't get to pursue this, notwithstanding that we are disappointing the family in this matter. She's throwing some rocks. She's very unhappy. Special Prosecutor Morrissey noted, this has always been about seeking justice for Helena Hutchins. We regret that Mr. Baldwin will not be held accountable for the role he played in the death of Helena Hutchins, and as we withdraw the appeal, we do so with the hope that the outstanding lawsuits bring some measure of justice to the family of Helena Hutchins. Okay, So that is the initial, sort of the initial press releases. That's what we got yesterday, and I covered those a bit on my discussion of that on Monday. However, we now have some additional information that was just released today, and notwithstanding that it's Christmas Eve, I was like, I want to talk about this, so I'm kind of racing to do this before family shows up for Christmas Eve dinner. So let's have a look at the other sort of spicier thing that happens here, because she throws an even bigger rock, and that is in the actual notice of withdrawal itself. So let's jump to that. Okay. Notice of withdrawal of notice of appeal. The state of New Mexico, through Special Prosecutor Kari T. Morrissey, hereby notifies the court and the defendant of the withdrawal of the notice of appeal filed on November 21st, 2024, and states as follows. On October 21st, 2021, Helena Hutchins was killed when a .45 caliber revolver believed to be loaded with dummy rounds was discharged by Alec Baldwin. Both Hannah Gutierrez and Alec Baldwin were ultimately charged with involuntary manslaughter for the death of Helena Hutchins. The charges against Mr. Baldwin were pursued after the discovery of significant evidence that Mr. Baldwin violated numerous gun safety rules established for the safe handling of firearms on movie sets. Now, if you're wondering, why is all of this in there? None of this needs to be in here. All you need to put in a notice of withdrawal of this is just, we are withdrawing this. Nobody cares if you're withdrawing something. Nobody needs any of this. The court's not going to reject her withdrawal of an appeal. So all of this, every single bit of this, is put in here for you and me and the media and the public at large. This is all her making a statement rather than anything that is sort of required. And so this is her last chance to really make a public statement, and she's making a big one. She's saying, Baldwin, you violated all the gun safety rules. 6 rounds of live ammunition were found on the movie set, and all had Starline brass casings and nickel primers. In November 2021, Troy Teske notified Seth Kenney that none of the ammunition in his possession that belonged to Thel Reed had nickel primers. On November 2nd, 2023, Troy Teske notified undersigned counsel that he and Thel Reed had shot most, if not all, of Mr. Reed's ammunition that was in his possession. Mr. Teske was unclear if he was in possession of any remaining ammunition belonging to Thel Reed. On October 6, 2023, Judge Marlo Summer upheld a request by Rust Productions, LLC, that all video from the filming of the movie be provided pursuant to a protective order. This ruling ensured that the public would have limited access to the video evidence from the set of Rust that demonstrated Alec Baldwin's reckless conduct with firearms. Now, I wonder if that protective order might be challenged after Rust comes out. That might be a fun thing to do. Maybe I'll see if I can. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I might have to consult some counsel just to see, hey, could I make an application on this? Maybe somebody with a larger budget could do that, but interesting. The reason why they would have had it on a protective order is that it's a movie, right? And they don't want everybody watching the movie from the court documents, right? So on January 19th, 2024, a grand jury made up of citizens from the 1st Judicial District of New Mexico returned an indictment against Alec Baldwin for 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the alternative. So on March 6, 2024, the same day Hannah Gutierrez was convicted, Troy Teske turned over 23 rounds of ammunition to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department. 3 of these rounds had the same characteristics as the live rounds found on the set of the movie Rust. None of the ammunition turned over by Teske was present on the set of Rust, or even in the state of New Mexico prior to Ms. Hutchins' death. So she's saying, this is completely irrelevant. Who cares? Detective Hancock with the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department made several requests for an interview of Mr. Teske to determine the relevance and materiality of the ammunition, and her requests went unanswered. Hey, why do we care? What is this? Why does it matter to us? .45 caliber ammunition possessing the same characteristics as the 3 rounds provided by Troy Teske to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department are regularly available for purchase at retail stores that sell ammunition for firearms. So they're saying, hey, how do we know he didn't just go to the local gun shop and buy these? We don't. Personnel of the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department were aware that 3 of the rounds of ammunition provided by Troy Teske on March 6, 2024 had the same characteristics as the live rounds found on the set of Rust. No one from the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department notified undersigned counsel or anyone on the prosecution team of these characteristics of the 3 rounds at any time prior to July 12, 2024. As a result, the ammunition was never disclosed to defense. Kari Morrissey is saying, it's not my fault. I didn't do the bad thing. The sheriffs didn't tell me. So how could I have done anything? Well, did she look into it? No, she's going to say she was too busy, but maybe she should have looked into it or just disclosed it, even though she didn't think it mattered. So, on April 15, 2024, Judge Marlo Summer sentenced Hannah Gutierrez after her conviction for involuntary manslaughter and stated, and this is where they're going to, Kari Morrissey is suggesting that Judge Summer is biased. Let's have a look at this. This is a whole choice. And stated, you and you alone stood between a safe weapon and a lethal weapon. This statement was made after the indictment of Mr. Baldwin by the grand jury and after Judge Marlo Summer was assigned to preside over the criminal case against Mr. Baldwin. The statement made by Judge Marlo Summer was made with full knowledge that Mr. Baldwin was also charged for using the firearm in a lethal manner. So basically, she's saying that the you and you alone stood between a safe weapon and a lethal weapon indicates that she prejudged this, that she was biased against the prosecution with respect to the prosecution of Baldwin. So I'm kind of sad that we're not going to see the full appeal, because I think it would have been spicy. So, yep. On June 26th, 2024, Judge Marlo Summer denied the state's request to compel the testimony of Hannah Gutierrez in the trial of Alec Baldwin. This ruling limited the state's ability to present all inculpatory evidence related to Mr. Baldwin's conduct. On July 12, 2024, Judge Marlo Summer dismissed the criminal case against Mr. Baldwin with prejudice after determining that the ammunition provided by Mr. Teske to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department was material and potentially exculpatory. The court also found that the late disclosure of the evidence, the third day of trial, negatively affected the defendant's preparation for trial. So this we know, this is why the case was thrown out. The state contends that the ammunition was not material to the case against Alec Baldwin, as it was unconnected to the reckless manner in which he handled his firearm at the time of the shooting of Ms. Hutchins. Now, so what they're saying is it didn't matter that, basically you have to treat the firearm with respect and with safety protocols, even if you think it's loaded only with dummies. That it doesn't matter how the ammunition got there, that this is not really a thing. Now, the defense is entitled to present a different view of things to the jury, and it's up to the jury to make that call. This is kind of Kari Morrissey in her own head a little bit, and not realizing that there are other arguments that can be made, that the jury and the court may not necessarily agree with her position there. So, the state further contends that the defense knew about the ammunition well in advance of trial, a fact that the defense has not disputed or acknowledged and therefore was not disadvantaged by a late disclosure. Now, this is the thing, is if the defense did know about this, then they are playing a bit of a game and a bit of maybe a trap for Kari Morrissey. Now, it was her choice to fall into the trap, but the allegations here suggest that she's of the view that the defense team was really unethical. Of course, the defense team is of the view that Kari Morrissey was really unethical, so we're not going to settle all of this. Now, during an on-the-record sidebar on July 12, 2024, the special prosecutor requested the court determine when the defense team became aware of the existence of the ammunition, as this information was critical to the court's analysis. The court declined to make an inquiry concerning the defense attorney's awareness of the ammunition prior to trial. And of course, Kari Morrissey, in her appeal, would have suggested that this was because she was biased, because she'd already decided that Baldwin was innocent. Okay. We're seeing some fire. Kari Morrissey is not going down lightly. She's losing this battle, but she is throwing some stuff out to the media here, and we'll see if anyone else picks this up, but I thought I'd cover this. I thought that this, as I said, it's Christmas Eve. Family is literally on their way here, but I'm excited and I wanted to talk to you guys about this soon. So, despite evidence that the defense team was aware of the ammunition in question and its similarity to the live rounds from the set of Rust well in advance of trial, Judge Marlo Summer's ruling relied on the fact that they were unaware of the evidence until the third day of trial. The case against Mr. Baldwin was dismissed with prejudice for the following reasons. A, an interested party. So you see the language that they're using here. She is still saying that this dismissal with prejudice should not have happened. Troy Teskey, a good friend of Hannah Gutierrez's father, provided 3 rounds of ammunition with the same characteristics as the live rounds found on the set of Rust to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department more than 2 years after the death of Ms. Hutchins. Troy Teskey previously disavowed possessing the ammunition and previously provided 2 photos of the ammunition in his possession that did not depict the ammunition he provided to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department on March 6, 2024. Ammunition identical to the rounds of ammunition provided by Troy Teskey to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department can be purchased at retail stores throughout the county, or throughout the country. So it seems to me that Kari Morrissey seems to think that there is a conspiracy here by the defense to create this issue. And the thing is I don't know that she's wrong about that. She could well be right. And we're never going to know, because if defense counsel aren't made to testify about this, there's no way they're going to talk about it. So this is really interesting. I mean, maybe they'll speak up to deny it. We'll have to see. The ammunition was never disclosed to the defense, but there are clear indications that, well before trial, the defense knew of the existence of the ammunition, knew it had been turned over to the Sheriff's Department, and knew that 3 of the rounds had the same characteristics as the live rounds found on the set of Rust, i.e., they could have asked for it. They should have said, hey, why aren't you giving us, this? And they could have made those inquiries. The defense implied to the court during arguments on July 12th that they were unaware of this ammunition. During the pendency of the case, the court granted Mr. Baldwin's defense team leave to file motions in excess of the permitted page limit on 3 separate occasions. The first and only time the state requested leave to file a motion in excess of the permitted page limit concerned the state's motion to reconsider dismissal with prejudice filed on August 30th, 2024, and the court denied the state's request. Again, playing into the court was biased. They'd prejudged this issue, and they had decided that Baldwin was going to get acquitted, notwithstanding anything. The Office of the Attorney General notified undersigned counsel that the Attorney General would dismiss its appellate efforts if the reviewing court did not recommend summary reversal. Under New Mexico law, only the Attorney General is vested with the power to prosecute and defend criminal appeals in the higher courts. So she, once again, is saying, I didn't want to do this. So, respectfully submitted, Kari T. Morrissey. So, Morrissey, as mentioned, she comes out swinging on all of this, and I can't say that she is wrong. She might actually be right about this. That conspiracy could be a real thing. Unfortunately, she's not able to prove it. She's not able to establish it, and the decision has been taken out of her hands. I mean, the problem here is that she should have disclosed it. She absolutely should have disclosed it, and it would have avoided all of this, but it's kind of a tough situation. I think this is unfortunate, but unfortunate or not, this is how things go. The case is over. The case is done. The only thing I'm really not unhappy with about this case, because I'm unhappy that the evidence wasn't disclosed. I'm unhappy that the case was dismissed. Sometimes the dismissal is necessary when you have a failure to disclose, but that doesn't mean that it's sort of a happy outcome for the universe. It can be a proper dismissal and a proper acquittal without it still being something that would have been the best thing to happen in an ideal world, if that makes sense. But if she's right about this conspiracy theory, then a real injustice has been done, and some very clever maneuvering will have gotten somebody out of charges. But the one group I think I am glad for this result for is film armorers, because film armorers are in the business of providing firearms and so forth, and, to movie sets. Film armoring as a profession is incredibly safe. There have not been a whole lot of accidents, and when there are accidents, you could count them on the fingers of a clumsy woodsman. And the real concern that's come up in the film industry is that people are going to not use film armors because of the issues with, the talent being afraid of potentially being charged or whatever. I'm hoping that diminishes. I like seeing real firearms in movies. It provides for a better movie. And film armors, as a profession, are incredibly careful, incredibly safe. And yeah, Hannah Gutierrez, I think, is a name that will live in infamy in the film community for the rest of time. And hopefully she never so much as steps onto a movie set again. But yeah, so that wraps up this chapter. I hope, yeah, that's kind of what we've got here. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you found this to be interesting or educational. I also want to thank my Patreon supporters at the $50 level. Purple Dragonair, Cielo, PJs Forever, Canada's Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights, Canada's National Firearms Association, the Canadian Shooting Sports Association, and Bottle Shock in Oz. I also want to thank, at the $20 level, Mark, Lindsay Metcalf, Larry Kalniak, Kyle Fox, Drunkle of the Baileys, Cameron Johnson, Andrew Elsich, Marvin CZ, and Dorky Dane. Thank you as well to my $10 supporters who will be in the crawl immediately following. Thank you for watching. Hope this has armed you with knowledge. See you next time. And apologies about the cell phone chime that happened in that, because normally I'd go and film another take, but family's going to be here in 2 minutes, so I got no time. We're going directly to print here. So bloopers, I guess. See you next time.